In this tutorial, I will teach you how to make a Python program which will first accept the user's input name. So the user will enter their first name and then their second name, each as separate variables. And then the program will take the first name and simply print the initial of the first name. And then it will print the second name, making sure that the first letter of the second name is capitalized. Now, the program also has to account for the fact that the user could enter their name in a variety of different ways. They could enter both first name and surname entirely capitalized, or the first letter of each word could be capitalized, all could be lowercase, or it could be in an unpredictable combination. Now, this program will use a couple of Python features, including upper, which will help to convert a string into uppercase, another feature called lower, which converts a string into lowercase, and finally something called slice string, which will just select sections of a particular string in Python. Okay, so first we'll navigate over to REPL. Okay, if you're unfamiliar with REPL, just type in REPL in a Google search. You might want to make an account too. Then I'll create a REPL. I'll select Python and proceed. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to allow the user to input their name. So we will create a variable called first name equals, and then we're going to type in input because the user needs to enter something into the system, and then we're going to print a message to the user. Enter your first name, please. Okay, now we can just copy and paste that whole line because the next line will be quite similar, and then we're going to say second name. Okay, so what this will do is it will print a message on the screen asking the user to enter the first name. When the user enters the first name, it will be saved in this variable first name. Then it will ask the user to enter their second name. Second name will be saved in this variable. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is we'll create a variable that just takes the first letter of first name, because you'll recall over here we just need to get the first letter here. Okay. And put it in capitals too. So we're going to say, so the initial of the first name equals, and then we'll type in first name, and here we're going to use what I mentioned earlier, slice. So we're only going to select the very first item of first name. So let's say in this case I enter my name. Okay, this letter is numbered 0, this one 1, this one 2, this one 3, this one 4, this one 5. So we enter 0 because we only want the first letter. But it's also possible I entered lowercase. So that's why we're going to use case as well. So we'll put a dot here and we'll type in upper, meaning uppercase. And we also must have brackets after that. Okay, then we want to make sure whenever we output also that the first letter of the surname is always in capitals. So we'll account for that now. We'll duplicate what we just made and we'll call it S name. And we'll just copy this here. Now just so you can appreciate the work in progress, I'm going to type in print and we'll print all the variables we've got so far. So we'll just copy this and we'll print first name, second name, and initial F name and initial, just so we can make sure that after we input the two names, each of these are containing the correct items. So we'll hit run. Now let's see what prints. Okay, correct. We got exactly what we entered for first name and surname, but more importantly, we have got the correct initial for the first letter of first name and first letter of surname, and it's been capitalized, which is what's supposed to happen. Okay, and then over here we are going to add another variable, but this will just be the full second name but in lowercase, like this. And so what we will type here is, and second name lower, to make it all in lowercase, and we of course must add brackets at the end. Okay, so we can again do a quick print just to check what's contained in everything. Working the way it should be with the second name lower entirely lowercase. Okay, we can take this away now, and we're going to create our final variable. So the first thing we'll add is the initial first name. We'll use plus to combine it together with the initial second name lower, but you will notice, of course, that initial second name lower isn't going to show the first letter of the second name in capitals, so we need to account for that. So we'll take initial S name up here and paste that in here, add a plus symbol. There's one more problem. We'll also need to account for this little space after the initial of the first name, so we can put a little string in there and then do plus. And there's still one more problem, because watch what happens right now when I print that variable. It's showing double F. So this is where we need to use the slice feature, and we are going to remove just the very first F from lower, initial lower. And so we can go up here to initial second name lower, and then we can put some square brackets in, and we're just going to start counting from the second letter. So in this case, if I enter Frame, like up here, this will be letter 0, so it will only begin counting from letter R, which is letter 1, and it will continue all the way through, hence we type 1. Okay, let's give this a go now. Okay, so you can see what it's done is it has taken the first letter from Kieran, C, made sure it's a capital. It's taken the first letter from Frane and made sure it's also a capital, and then it's taken the rest of Frane and made it lowercase, but just removed the first F up here. So because there's already a capital F, and it is working the way we would like it to.